Taco Tuesday, right? I know, Harv. I know. Don't do that. I know. For those that don't know at home, Harv's been sticking to, he's not been able to. He's holding back on the tacos for now, all right? But tacos will be back on Tuesday. I'm pretty sure, right, Harv?
I got Impossible beef or burger. What do you want to talk about? It so it's all good, man. It tastes the same.
Impossible baloney.
If it's all good to you, man. I mean, shoot. I mean, we're literally we're the 2nd of May. Wow, how time flies, right? That story can never get old. That phrase.
This is the fun time, man.
It really is, man.
It's team builder time. Post draft, you're looking at OTAs coming up at the end of the month, I believe. Mandatory mini camps.
Rookie mini camps.
Yeah.
I mean, it just kind of, this is the time of the year where it kind of like circles, right? It just becomes reality and we start realizing how close football is. But hats off to those like Harvey that are still sticking to their, whatever you want to call it, resolution or goal of, making sure that your body's right, because your body's right, your mind's right, that you can do this kind of stuff right here on East West. Of course, for those that are first time, make sure you give us a follow. Hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, let you know when we go live. Follow Walt Stringer for all your Detroit Lions content. Ken, for all your Patriots, it's Ken's Pet Talk. For all your Patriots, you want to know what's going on with Patriots? You got to follow Ken.
Sir.
Harv, what is your plug? Throw your plug.
That's the Cowboys cast, man. Everything the Cowboys cast. Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. You know it, man.
You see, that's what we love the East West football. The one thing that I just want to make sure everybody's clear is that, we're not like the NFL Network. Shout out for them, right? Because they laid the blueprint. But you know what? We can be ourselves. You know what I mean? And really, hey, you know what? This is my team. This is where I grew up on. So it is what it is. We got somebody commenting. Elijah Vaccaro, right? Detroit. Look. Okay, I'm not gonna give you a round of applause for the comments, right? But I'm gonna give you a round of applause for the comments. For anybody that jumps on the live stream and comments, hey, we give a round of applause.
Let me guess. This guy's probably a Patriots fan.
No, Detroit. That would mean he was probably like a Packers fan, a Vikings fan.
Probably so.
I mean, what would you give it to?
Minnesota?
I don't think anybody would publicly say they're a Vikings fan anyway.
There has to be a Packer fan. Well, is it safe to say
It could have been. We've been giving the Packers a nice punch to the windpipe the last couple years. So. He's a Patriots all day, huh?
Oh, that's a wild card right there. Patriots all day.
Yes, sir.
Man, I hope you're following. I hope you're following Ken's Pet Talk for your
Make sure you
your
subscribe
latest.
to my YouTube.
Yeah, Ken's Pet Talk. Hey, Instagram, YouTube, but make sure all of us want to get. We are all on the road to 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube page. Please help us. But hey, it's all good. We're going to talk about all that, right? Because today's topic is, we've all had our first impressions from the NFL draft, which, man, it feels like we work all year for this, right, Walt, Harv, Kendall, to see what we do in the offseason to, help us continue that success during the season, right? And be able to say, you know what, our team is this is our year, right? The Cowboys year. I'm sorry, the Patriots year. I'm sorry. The Lions year now, right? Because, a lot to talk about right now, right? But for sure.
It's brand new, man. It's like the day after Christmas.
These are
a lot of players. Well, these are all players that we believe are good. Now, once camp begins and you start finding out guys can't play at this level, guys who you thought were going to be contributors, maybe practice squad guys, things get humbling around July.
Some of us can say that, Walt, but some of us didn't get that Nintendo with Duck Hunt with it.
Oh, that's good. That's a good. That's a great analogy, but a lot of people won't understand it because nowadays PS5, what is it? PS5 and Xbox X into infinity and beyond, right? Or the iPhone, I don't know, 30, whatever. Well, I already lost count. But anyways, back on the subject is which division is much stronger after the 2023 NFL draft. You know what? How about this? The entire offseason. And who wants to go first? Because this is an interesting.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I think the AFC North has improved the most. I think they're the strongest. Look what the Steelers did with getting Broderick Jones out of Georgia. They come back getting Darnell Washington. Then they got my guy that I wanted in New England, Joey Porter. Like, I think they had a pretty good draft. The Bengals had a real good draft. Baltimore shocked the world taking Zay Flower. They didn't think he'd go there. And then the Browns, I think they had a very under-radar draft. I think the AFC North is one of the most improved divisions. It's going to be a very interesting division. There's a lot of other divisions out there, but I think the AFC North is young. They got some stars over there now, and I mean that just I really like what Baltimore did though. They already added Odell, Zay Flowers, got Bateman coming back. Like that whole division, I can go on. No, they had a really good draft, man. On the Bengals, they lost a lot during Frazee, but they regained. They regained during the draft. I like the Jordan Battle pick, the safety at Alabama, but AFC North one of the most improved divisions. I feel.
Believe it or not, guys, just before we get a little bit of hers, because I want to hear Harv, right? Before we get ahead of ourselves, I want to hear Harv. I want to hear Walter's take on this. But Yahoo Sports actually has AFC North ranked third in their divisional topping or rankings. I'm sorry. So who wants to go first? Harv, what do you think about Kendall's take? Walt, what do you think?
Go ahead,
look, man. For me, I mean, I get the AFC North, but for me, it has to be the NFC North, man. Just with Detroit, the way they're already playing, the way they ended the year last year, and they got Jamar Gibbs. To me, is probably I don't even call him a running back. He's a weapon, man. You can put you can run the ball, you can take him outside in the slot, you can do so many things with him, man. It's crazy. So I think that's gonna make them a lot better. I think my favorite tight end in the draft was Sam Laporta. I think he's a really good prospect, so that's going to help him out as well. I can't believe they got Brian Branch. That's the one I couldn't believe that they got. But then also you see that they got Brendan Hooker. Like, you got Goff 2 more years and let that guy sit. You're not stuck with Goff, man. And then the Packers, man. I mean, they did pretty good as well. They already have a pretty good, decent, receiving core. They got a tight end. They got Reed. They got Musgrave. They got 2 tight ends with Kraft as well. So I think they did pretty good. I think the Bears drafted well too. So I think overall, I mean, to me, man, the North, you got to watch the NFC North, man. Minnesota, I think, drafted well as well too. So obviously they still have Kirk Cousins, but to me, I think the North, man, they did a really good job drafting.
And Yahoo has the NFC North ranked 7th on their power rankings. Well, who do you got?
I'm gonna go ahead and go with the AFC South.
Ooh.
I think it's all based on potential, honestly, and that's based on whether Anthony Richardson for the Colts, Will Levis for the Tennessee Titans, who we expect to eventually become the starter, I guess, at some point in time next season, over Tannehill and Malik Willis for however that goes. Also, C.J. Stroud in Houston. So you're banking on all of those working out. You look at Houston to have the cojones to actually take the quarterback at 2 and then trade back with Arizona, get the 3rd pick, and then take Will Anderson. I think they're very improved. They're solid already on the back end, and to add a playmaker within that front 7 like Will Anderson was tremendous. And you also solved the quarterback position. So I think that's something that was key for them. They didn't want to really sell it on the hometown with another Davis Mills situation or Case Keenum or whoever it may be. So, there's a lot of excitement going on in town in Houston now with that situation. So I think Houston's going to be much better next season. The Colts, I think, is an interesting fit with Richardson. I think with that offensive line and a healthy Jonathan Taylor coming back, you're going to see a lot of RPO. I think you're going to see Richardson early also. It's been reported he and Minshew have a really good relationship. They've been working out already over the summer. Well, not over summer, but prior to the draft. So I think he's a guy who's a good learner, quick learner, and he's going to take off fast. You may see Richardson sometime probably around week 2, week 3, if he doesn't start from week 1. I wouldn't be shocked if it happened. A lot of people are shocked when these rookie quarterbacks start immediately. Some of these guys start early. Most of them do start early due to pressure upstairs. So, Jacksonville, they made some decent plays, but at the end of the day, Jacksonville is a playoff team. coming off a playoff win. They've got their head coach. They've got their franchise quarterback. They know what they have set up. They got Trayvon Walker, a ton of talent on that defense. They didn't need to improve a whole lot, but I think they did in certain areas they needed. So, and also Will Levis, man, it's gonna be interesting in Tennessee. I like the Pete. I like the Pete Skrzyminski pick. I think he's solid. He's what they needed. I didn't think they needed to gamble on any offensive linemen. Losing Taylor Lewan and losing some other guys, I thought they needed to get a guy in there who they felt could play from day one, whether it was at right guard, left or right tackle. Pete's going to start from day one, so they need someone solid. Regardless how we feel about Pete around here, Jerry, but I think Pete's going to be a starter for them. He made the most sense. They did take Jalen Duncan. Now, he's an interesting prospect. He's a guy who midway through the season was considered to be a first-round pick. Some people had him pegged as a top 10 pick. Suffered the foot injury, was an ankle injury at the combine, kind of dropped him down some boards. But if they hit on him, you hit on Pete Skrzyminski, Will Levis comes along slowly, they may have something working there in Tennessee. And I mean, hey, let's be honest. I think Mike Vrabel's career rides on the development of Will Levis. So I think overall, man, that division has improved a lot, and I'm excited to see it over the next 10 years.
You know, I think that Yahoo has you up there in the top 10, you know, as far as the power rankings, because they actually have them ranked, I believe, 6th on their power rankings. Well, and you know what? I want to add a couple of things to that, but I kind of want to round circle. I want everybody's take on the AFC North, what they think on there. I want to hear your take on AFC North, NFC North, and of course we're going to come back to the South. So the only thing I would do is let's go back with the South, and just the one thing I want to add to it. Walt, do the Texans now become a legitimate contender to be crowned AFC South Division champions? With the
immediately?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
How about competitive?
I will. Yeah.
So,
and I'm giving majority of the credit to DeMeco Ryans. I think he's capable. We've seen other coaches do it. We've seen Daboll do it in New York with Daniel Jones, that team. It's possible for DeMeco Ryans to come in with the team that's already in place, because they have some talent there. You add C.J. Stroud, you add a Will Anderson, you add his know-how. He spent how many years with the 49ers? DeMeco Ryans as the defense. Yeah, so, yeah, I think it's possible. I think it's really possible that DeMeco can take over that team and get that team over the hump early. They could see some early success. Could be 7 wins, could be 8 wins, but I definitely believe it's possible. I think Carolina's another team, and that's going across the border to the other South, but I think Carolina's another team. It seems to me like, and I'm saying it now so people can't say I'm jumping on it later. I think that's going to be the perfect storm in Carolina. Because we all love Bryce Young, except for Javi. But we all love Bryce Young, except for Javi.
Yeah. Exactly.
And you pair Bryce Young with Frank Wright and that all-star head coaching cast and that talented defense, and they added a couple guys more guys on that offensive line, man, that we liked also. I think it all could be the perfect storm, and you can see Carolina. I'm not jumping that deep into it. We're still in early May, but I think that's another team that you could see turn things around relatively quickly. You're going to see, I'll put it like this. You're going to see how we always say the quarterback makes the difference. I think Carolina's one of those situations where you're going to see immediately that the quarterback is the difference.
Well said. But it didn't Deuce Staley go to the Panthers also?
Yep.
So he was with the Detroit Lions. So he has a little bit of an influence of that number 1 ranked offense. But go ahead, Kendall.
Also, D'Angelo Hall is with the Carolina Panthers as well.
That is also right.
They have an all-star cast there. They had a pretty good draft. Got Jonathan Mingo out of Ole Miss. Falcons. My take on we want the AFC South or the NFC South?
No. We're sticking with the South. We're gonna go back up there.
Okay, yeah. I think the Panthers pretty good division. I think right now off the draft, they landed some pretty good star players over there. I think with the Falcons, beyond Bijan Robinson, there was talk weeks headed to the draft that he was going to land there. We didn't believe it. I didn't think that he'd go there, but he did. Tampa Bay, pretty good draft as well. getting Kalijah Cansey. I believe, yeah, they didn't get him. And then you look at what the Saints did. Pretty good draft, offensive line depth, defense. I mean, I just think that whole division there had a real good draft. But I think right now, as we speak, if the games start tomorrow, I think the Saints is probably still the best team in the division. The Panthers not far from them, though, because they addressed the main thing at the quarterback. And they're a young team. And let's not forget the pieces they added prior to the draft.
What y'all thinking about Tampa? I mean, that's still a talented football team, man. And I think Mock is a guy who's probably going to start somewhere along that offensive line early. Kansas is another guy. I think Kansas is in a good situation too because they have some bigger bodies that they can move him around and kind of hide him, disguise him a little more, play him more at that 3 technique, which I think he's going to have to really survive in the NFL. I don't think he's going to be an every down interior defensive lineman. So I think, you pair Baker over there with a talented football team, a talented roster already. They're still in the mix in that division. I do like Atlanta, though. I like Atlanta a lot. I think people only see they see the shiny toys on the outside, but they don't see the Lidstrom. They don't see the McGarry and they took 2 offensive linemen in the first round that year. Which was it? 2019, I believe, when they took both of those guys. Or 2020? No, that was a COVID draft. They took both of those guys the same year and hit on both of them. It appears that maybe they hit on Kyle Pitts. We don't know. Before the Pitts injury, they just couldn't seem to get him the football, and I just couldn't understand why. They were struggling to really get him involved in the offense out of everybody. But, you add a Drake London and a Bijan Robinson and a solid offensive line, and you got another team that's ushering along their rebuild really quickly.
What do you think, Harv? I mean, we were talking. Both Souths sound good right now, but obviously the AFC South is very young, right? Yeah. But the thing is with the AFC South is that it was up for grabs, notably the Titans and Jags, right? But with Carolina's star-studded offensive coaching staff, especially who is it? Josh McCown, right? The quarterback coach there with Carolina. What do you think, Harv?
And Steve Smith also. They've got Bryce really insulated well over there.
They do. I don't know if that's the right word, but
I don't know. I don't know about Carolina, man. I really don't. They had a good draft. Don't get me wrong. They had Bryce Young. They got him a receiver. I think Jonathan Mingo. They got Chandler Zavala, which I didn't realize how far he dropped. Was a 4th round or whatever. It's pretty crazy.
To an already solid offensive line. Too.
Yeah. So they had a good run game, and I honestly, when they lost CMC, I was like, you know what, they're not going to do anything. And then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, I don't know what happened, and I lost money, and I always remember this. I bet on that game, and it was Detroit and Carolina, and I thought Detroit was going to win that game, and they just got obliterated by Carolina in that run game. I think 270 yards or something. I was like, what? So I don't know. I'm on the fence on Carolina. But I think when you think about it, and they do got Bryce Young, and if he does well, man, that it could be potentially very dangerous, man. So we'll see. But I think the AFC South, man, is just. I think the Titans had a good draft, and I think a lot of people are going to be surprised by Tyjae Spears. I promise you.
They had that stereotypical Titan type of draft, though. That's a lot of T's in there. But it's
I'm just saying, man. Like Tyjae Spears is gonna. I think it's gonna be thunder and lightning, man. If they keep Derrick Henry.
Good.
I'm just being honest. Also, like even Will Levis, doesn't Will Levis fit the mold of that typical Titan quarterback, mobile, big arm guy, Jake Locker and Ryan Tannehill, and he looks like one of those Titan quarterbacks. He really does. Then,
you know what? This is what I'll say about Levis, though, man. You guys got to be honest, man. Kendall, what do you think? I'm about to say this, but I think he got humbled.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you can say that because if you've seen where everybody had him ranked, I seen number 1 overall, number 2, top 5, top 10, and he ended up going on day 2 of the draft. So I think, I think he did. He got humble. I mean, he really thought that he would probably go first round. We saw the reaction he had whenever he finally got taken by the Titans or whatnot. So he was fired up and whatnot. Let's see if he can translate to the field. But he got some work to do. And he's not going to start right away. Tannehill, the guy. Vrabel came out and said Tannehill, John Lewis. I actually think Malik Willis is second. So I think that ship has sailed on Malik Willis. But I think if he comes out preseason training camp, Will Levis said he has a pretty good offseason. We can see him thrust in there real quick. I really because I don't think Tannehill's not running away. I don't think Tannehill running away with the job. I wish they would have got him some more weapons in the draft or whatnot. But we're gonna see what happens there.
Well, obviously we could tell, right? We're split, right? The NFC South, AFC South, both of them did great changes for their teams. I think, if you're a Houston Texans fan, you're a Tennessee Titan fan. Obviously, if you're a Jag fan, you know what I mean. And vice versa, right? If you go NFC South, if you're a Saints fan, I mean, Falcon fan, you have a lot to look forward to. And I think both these divisions right here, right now, are in the ranks for the best, as least, or at least saying strongest division right now so far. But let's take it to North, right? I believe, Harv, you said NFC North. What was your big takeaway from the NFC North?
I love what the Bengals do, and I've loved the Bengals draft the last 2-3 years. I like DJ Turner. It seems to me they're getting there with it. That's the second straight year they've taken a Michigan defensive back within the first couple rounds, because they took Dax Hill to safety last year. But you look at the versatility of DJ Turner. He can play the slot. He can play outside. Clocked in as the fastest corner at the NFL Combine. Quick hips. He can do everything you really need him to do. Miles Murphy, I think, is going to fit right in with what they want. As they want those big, oversized defensive end, those edge rushers. He's also elite against the run, can push the pocket. I like what they did. Pittsburgh now, I kind of wonder, what is Pittsburgh trying to build around Kenny Pickett? I like the Darnell Washington pick, I guess, given for where they got him at, but, you pair him with Freiermuth. Are you throwing the ball downfield? Are you going to have a short to intermediate game? Are you going to feed Najee Harris? I don't really know what the hell Pittsburgh's going to be. Now, Baltimore is different. Because I think if Zay Flowers turns out to really be the one guy that hits, and you pair that with Odell Beckham Jr., and you pair that with a healthy Rashad Bateman, we could see something really explosive and special in Baltimore. But I think it's all based upon Lamar staying healthy also, and keeping some running backs healthy and keeping those guys out of the emergency room. But, yeah, I think not so much the Browns, though. The Browns are still browning around, man. I don't really know about the Browns, but yeah, I think the North is going to be tougher this year. It's going to be this year what I thought it was going to be last year.
Well, I will say this. I asked about the NFC. You wanted to go AFC North, but I will tell you this.
I thought you was talking about the AFC North.
No, it's all good, because the AFC North, I think that was Kendall's, right? And they were ranked third. But let's stick to that one right now. Harv, what do you like most about this, or which team do you think from the North really helped themselves out?
If we're just talking about the draft, to me, I think the Browns had the better draft. We can argue it. I'm telling you right now, man. I think where they took the players at, and if you look at, Deshaun Watson, what if he doesn't work out? Who's the backup? So to me, man, they took Cedric Tillman, they took Saki Ika, they took DeJuan Jones, Isaac McGuire, the defensive end, DTR from UCLA, Cameron Mitchell, the cornerback, and they took, I think, one of probably the biggest steals in the draft to me is going to probably be Luke Whippler in the 6th round. I think they're already a good team, and then they just added these players. So I think they got good value for the people that they picked.
I will say this.
Throw this out here. Hold on. I'm going to throw this out here right now. Charlie Jones could turn out to be the steal of the draft.
Yeah.
Wow.
He could turn out to be Joe Burrow's best friend by the time it's all said and done, man. And then I like Chase Brown also. Chase Brown's the type of running back they need.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna start saying that, but I was gonna say the one thing from those names that Harvey mentioned was all of them were labeled as second rounders, and
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Where they got them, like you can't, like that's crazy.
Look at Elisha. He says the Browns are just trash. I guess
I like what the Bengals did, adding Charlie Jones, kind of looking long term, looking ahead, because Tyler Boyd's contract is up after this season. So now you can just slide Charlie Jones in and be your third receiver, depending on what they do with T. Higgins. So,
but you know what's crazy? They took 2 receivers, Kendall. They took the guy from Princeton too.
Yeah, Slavis.
I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, wow, man, that's crazy.
I think Charlie's gonna make the team. I think he's guaranteed he's gonna make the team. He's fast, he's quick, he's shifty.
They got Charlie in the third round, wasn't it?
4th.
But the biggest storyline for them was that they were able to sign Lamar Jackson and make him the highest paid quarterback or the highest paid player in the NFL, right? So, yeah, a lot of that is definitely in the books. I think for sure the AFC North, is it enough to put them over the hump, right? Because obviously the team to beat in the AFC is the Chiefs, right? So that's still all in the making.
Well, let me ask you guys this then. So after them, who's next? To me, it has to be the Bengals. I think the Bengals are better than Buffalo.
Well, with Joe Burrow, you can't count anything out.
I mean, well, I like the way Cincinnati has built their roster also over the last couple of years. So they've got a certain type of defensive lineman they like, and I think Myles Murphy fits perfectly with them.
He does. Like you can't even find like a better player to fit the Bengals defense. Like, I don't know. It's weird, right? They don't have really tweeners or guys that are like, they don't have those kind of guys. They're just big, beefy dudes. It's just, I don't know. They get to the quarterback.
They don't have the big, they don't have the big names, but the guys play. And they defensive coach, Gino, is a really good defensive coach.
Yeah.
Went on the radar last year.
Well, a lot of people will debate that the Steelers were second or side by side with the Philadelphia Eagles. So both Pennsylvania teams having the best draft classes. And I think that for sure the Steelers is a team that for the future, I think
Burrow don't play for Pittsburgh though.
Yes, you're right. But
Joe Burrow ain't walking through Heinz Field, man.
I think for the Bengals did just reload their clip. I think if you want to use a term,
I think they're kind of taking that Kansas City approach, which is surround your quarterback with playmakers, defensive playmakers. You get looking at guys like Dax Hill. Well, they lost Bates, so there's no idea what that secondary is going to look like without Bates being back there to clean things up. But I'm guessing Dax Hill is going to take over that spot. That's kind of I think that's what they actually went out and selected him for last year, because I don't think they had any plans of really paying Jesse Bates what he got from Atlanta. So
I did miss a comment, right? Elisha says Keyshawn Boutte is going to be a sleeper, and that is, I mean, you already called. Kendall, can you please talk about this prospect? That's what they're asking right now, but. Really, I want to hear Walt talk about it after Ken. Go for it.
Yeah, Keyshawn Boutte. You see my video? I already put out a video on this. He is gonna be an absolute steal. Not just him, Demario Douglas. We got him at Liberty. One of my Patriots guys calls him Day 3 Zay. Day 3 Zay Flowers, because he's a cheaper Zay Flowers basically. He's a knockoff Zay Flowers. But Keyshawn Boutte. They had him coming out the first round.
A knockoff.
They had him coming out the first round a couple of years ago. His 2020 year, he put up some good numbers there. He had a couple ankle surgeries 2021, I believe. They had a new coaching staff in 2022. Got behind, got some character concern, off the field concerns. If you just take away all that, I mean, he could be following behind Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson as those LSU wide receivers.
That's a lot to take away, though. You can take away all of that.
Look, before we get ahead of ourselves, I will say this: Keyshawn Boutte was that in 2019. This is 2023. So again, I'll let you finish off.
That's what I just said. I said in 2020 he had that year. And then since then, he had a couple ankle issues, some off the field character, new coaching style. But like he's a 6th round. We took a 6th round flyer. If it works out, great. If not, nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to remember. I mean, we're not losing anything. And I actually I think it was a steal of the draft for the Patriots anyway. I love it. I love it. And then look at the depth chart with the Patriots, what they have. None of the Patriots wide receivers scared so he's going to get every opportunity he can to come in and just slide right open there and produce.
Benny, you think he's going to work out in New England, though?
That's exactly what I was going to ask you. Well,
him? Because, like, he seems kind of like a diva. I don't want to call him flaky or whatever, but, like,
a diva.
This past season, he was, like, really hot and cold and up and down. I'm talking about, like, not just on the field, but, like, personality-wise, and then having to which game was at the beginning of the season where he was not going to say he quit on some plays, but it did look like he quit on some plays.
A lot. I mean, he took plays off.
Walt took my thunder, man. I was going to say he's playing for Belichick.
He's at the right place. He came to the right place. What I was going to say, came to the right place.
It's kind of hard because, I mean, with your coach, he doesn't put up with much. And with Kayshon Boutte, he's very talented. Not going to take that away from him. But the discipline, it didn't show up this last season and the season, half the season before. So, I mean, very talented individual. I would like to see if it works out. If it works out, dang, he does have great upside. And I think that
low risk, high reward. He's a 6th round pick. So if it works out, great. If not, that's great.
That is true. That's true.
Well, I guess let's go ahead and round it off, right? Because I mean, I haven't mentioned my divisional winners, right? And I'm gonna go ahead and just put it right now, and I'm just gonna put it on the line. It's easy to say that the divisional round winners are the beast in the East, and that goes for AFC East and the NFC East. I think that both East, I think right now are running the playoffs right now, and I'm just being honest with you. I want to give respect to the Chief fans. I understand Mahomes. You don't want to take anything away, but dang, with the addition with Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, you know what the Patriots were able to do. And then let's go to where the Eagles are at. The Eagles, what they were able to do with their offseason. I know they lost some players, but dang, they had a great draft class. Of course, the Cowboys are there. The Giants had a great draft class. So I think that's what it is, guys. So let's sum it up real quick. Are you guys on board with me? Because if not, I know Yahoo is.
I agree. The two East team, especially AFC East, Christian Gonzalez landing with the Patriots. Jets was a little bit of shocker, taking McDonald. Dolphins, they didn't have a pick, and then Buffalo, oh my God, getting Dalton Kincaid. So just give me something else to stay up at night about thinking about Dalton Kincaid whenever we play Buffalo. NFC East, Giants, real good drive, getting Deontay Banks, Harvey's guy, Deontay. Cowboys, Mozzie Smith, pretty good draft. Washington getting Emmanuel Ford. I actually thought they was going to get Porter or Gonzalez, but I guess Ford was higher on their scale of the draft, on their draft sheet or whatnot. And then the Eagles. I got to say them for last, man. Whoa, they knocked it out. Philadelphia Bulldogs, what everybody calls it. Philadelphia Bulldogs. So, I think both East teams knocked it off. And just like Jerry said, we can see all the East teams from both teams in the playoffs, possibly.
Very possible. Harv, what do you think, Harv? We gotta give some positive before it gets some negatives. I know when we get to
man. I think the AFC had some good. They had some good. They actually drafted pretty well, to be honest. And then the addition with, if you look at Brett Favre. I keep saying Brett Favre. Aaron Rodgers.
This is a joke between us.
It's like Aaron Rodgers or whatever. But man, I think they're talented. I think honestly, I think people are going to look back at this draft and look at Kuntz, the tight end. I think that's a pretty good pickup in the 6th round for the Jets. But one of my favorite running backs, Israel Abanikanda, however you say it, I just call him Izzy from Pitt. I think that's a great pickup as well. But Will McDonald, and then you got Buffalo. They took Kincaid. They took Osiris Torrance in the 2nd round. And then the Patriots had I think they had a great draft, man. They really did. And then the Dolphins, man, they added A-Chain, the running back. I was just like, wow, man. Speed. So I think overall, that's going to be a tough division.
Dolphins, Cam Smith too to the Dolphins.
Yeah, Cam Smith. But to me, I think I wouldn't want to root for a team in that division. I'm just saying. But the NFC, man, I think they had a good draft too. Other than Washington, Washington's kind of flaky. I don't know about their draft. But the Cowboys, they're typical Cowboys. I think they made some good moves. Not good enough, but I think the Giants had a really good draft. They took Schmitz. They had Hyatt. I think they made some good drafts, and then obviously the Eagles. But overall, I think these two are probably we're gonna see, man. There's gonna be a lot of bloodshed in these divisions. So, yep.
Well, I want to hear your take on it. Those were my winners.
Yeah. I think the AFC East, well, to me, and we're comparing both divisions, I think the NFC East is better, like overall, than the AFC East.
For sure, 3 solid teams, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we expect Buffalo to still be in the mix.
For sure.
Miami did add more speed. They did add more speed at wide receiver when they brought in, was it Chosen Anderson? That's his name.
That is his name.
They brought in Chosen.
Bobby, but he changed it to Chosen, yeah.
Yeah, they brought in Chosen, so they're going all out for speed. That's obvious. I do like Cam Smith. Cam can step right in and play the nickel for them if need be, and if Xavier's gone within another couple years, or they decide to not hold on to Ramsey, whatever could happen, because things happen in the NFL over a 2 or 3 year span. Cam can play outside, so I do like that. New England, I'm not that impressed with. Now, I mean, I do like the fact that they selected my number 1 corner in Christian Gonzalez. I always felt that he was a better fit for them and how they like to play with their DBs than Porter was, but I'm just putting it for what I think it is, man. I still don't think they got the quarterback. I think the quarterback position for them is still what's holding them back in that division. With Aaron Rodgers, and you got to compete with that Jet defense. Now you got to compete with that Jet offense with all the pieces they added. You're looking at Buffalo, like I said, you expect Buffalo to be just as good with Dalton Kincaid added to the equation. And the receiver they took late last year out of Boise State, Shakir.
Khalil Shakir.
Yeah. So, and then you also throw in Miami. Miami got issues too. They got all the ancillary pieces around the quarterback, but they still got the noodle arm out there. So it don't matter. But I was talking to somebody about this recently. I think Miami's building that team for another quarterback.
I don't
because I'm being
Elijah emoji.
Look, I'll tell you, I don't know about the Patriots, man. They took 2 pretty good guards. Like I think it was Sal, and they got Mont and Mafi, man. Like they're making sure that's pretty good. And then I really like DeMario Douglas. I thought the Cowboys might have drafted him at the end of the 7th round, but they didn't.
If Walt says anything positive about the Patriots, it's going to snow in the summertime. So I'm not even going. I'm not going.
You know how I feel about quarterbacks, man.
Yeah,
you know how I feel about. But no, look, I do like the fact that I did like Gonzalez. But I want to ask you about that. Did you think at that spot, whether it was Gonzalez corner period, did you think corner was the spot to go at that spot?
Everything that I was hearing, it was going to be Zay Flowers or JSN. I was on the live. I did not think we were going to get Gonzalez. I didn't want Gonzalez. I wanted Joey Porter, but we got the better player in Gonzalez. Y'all know I've been on the Joey Porter hype train all offseason. I did not want Gonzalez. I wanted Joey Porter or a wide receiver or whatnot. And I thought when we traded back, I thought we was getting Jackson Smith and Jigba or Zay Flowers. I did not think it was going to be Christian Gonzalez, but we got him. So, I love the pick.
Hey, I'll tell you. You know who's probably, when we look back again, I'm going to name another player, is Keon White. Mm-hmm. He got taken 15th in the second round.
He did not look happy either.
He did not look happy,
He got invited too, yeah. So,
woo!
I don't know if it was because he didn't get selected in the first round or he's just going to the Patriots. I don't know.
No, that's already came out. They didn't show the whole thing.
So Elisha Mercado says Cowboys need a new quarterback. Dak is not the answer. Jeez, man. Lord. Who's your team so I can make fun of your quarterback? But anyways, that's not here.
It's the Patriots. It's mac and cheese.
Macintosh Jones.
Mac
Daddy Jones.
Mac Daddy Jones. Matt, my quarterback already in the gym. He in that lab training.
He in the lab training.
He's in the lab.
I'm sitting back taking. Hey, I got all these receipts. I'm gonna keep them too.
Look, hey, he said Mac Jones ain't the answer either. But just to round it looks like he's a Patriot fan. But I will say this. Look, I think he did say he was a Patriot fan. But he did. Look, if you go back right here, Patriots all day. But anyways, just to end it out, because I think Alex right here, Alex Lopez, appreciate you. He has a great question for all of us. Is the level of competition stronger still in the AFC? Or is the NFC, I guess, is he asking, is now the shift of power the same in the NFC as it is in the AFC? Because AFC, obviously, they have the young youth, the quarterback youth, the whole thing. But is the NFC now on par with the AFC as far as power?
I think the NFC is still growing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of inexperienced quarterbacks. You got Sam Howell stepping up to the plate this year. Jordan Love in Green Bay. Not knowing what the health future-wise are going to really hold in place for Stafford with the Rams. We don't know who's going to end up as quarterback for them. Daniel Jones. So there's still a lot of questions in the NFC. Then you got the young guys. You got Bryce Young over there now. Ritter's still the guy over there in not Cincinnati, but Atlanta. He played at Cincinnati. But no, the West is a different animal. The AFC is a different animal. I consider the AFC the Western Conference. Honestly, of football. But yeah, I think the AFC teams their quarterbacks are more advanced, they're more mature, they've been around a little longer. And those teams are deep over there.
What do you think, Hav?
I don't know, man. I think it's kind of in the middle. It's not, I don't think it's tipped either way. Because if you look at all the teams, I mean, let's look at the top 10 teams. I want to say that the Bears 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's kind of evened out. I don't know, man. Yeah, like I agree with Walt. It's kind of hard to say, but I think the NFC is still growing. I think the easier path is the NFC if that makes it clear a little bit, but I just don't see like I think what we talked about earlier, guys, I think last year it wasn't like, oh yeah, that team's going to win the Super Bowl. Even Kansas City didn't look that good during the season. And so you know what I'm saying? Like it was kind of a weird season. You're like one they play good one week, the next week you're like, is that the same team that we just saw?
The crazy thing is when those top tier quarterbacks matched up against each other, they lit it up.
Yeah.
So it did seem like in the AFC when the top guys matched up against the top guys, we got it showcased. The NFC full of like a bunch of B guys and C- quarterbacks with Carr and Goff and Howell and who else? Like they all pretty much those type of guys. Geno, whatever stiff Frisco throws on the center.
But also, if we look at the Super Bowl, it's not like they got blown out.
Yeah.
True.
I mean,
what do you think, Kendall?
Oh, and Kirk Cousins. He's one of those C- guys too.
Jeez, Louise, back in there too.
I had to, man. It's a Viking thing, man.
What do you think? Well, I mean, Kendall.
I think it's still growing. NFC is got a long way to go. I think it's kind of top heavy right now. AFC has dealt with their teams and whatnot, but I think the NFC is real top heavy. You got Philly, Dallas. I'll see what San Francisco can do. I actually think the Sam Darnold pickup is a sneaky one. I just think he's going to do something there. Philly, Dallas, and San Francisco. Then let's see what the Saints do. Seattle. We judging off what just happened, but other than those 4 teams, I mean, what else is their job? Is Daniel Jones really going to have another year like he had this past season? Let's see what Washington do. They trust Sam Howell. Vikings. I mean, like, so it's a lot going on there. Cardinals are rebuilding. Panther, they're a young team, so they might just get into the thing. They got a good roster now. But the NFC is still going. They're real top heavy. Outside about 3 or 4 teams, it starts and stops there, unless somebody comes out of nowhere.
Wow. I mean, I hate to do this, but so we have a super random and stupid asking who's the best quarterback from each conference and who's their main competition. I don't know about the main competition, but we could probably answer the quarterback, right, from the conference.
That's easy.
Yeah. Go ahead, guys.
I hate to say this, man. but it's Patrick Mahomes. That's easy. That's the
That's
easy
AFC.
one.
AFC.
Yeah,
NFC.
I had to give it to Jalen Hurts, man. I had to get it Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. I'm going to Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
What do you think, though?
Patrick Mahomes and the money man. Your boy just got paid. Jalen Hurts.
Well, let me ask you guys. I agree. I agree with it. Everybody else. But
what you got?
Is it possible that Hurts doesn't lead the NFC in touchdown passes?
Yeah, 100%.
This season coming up?
Yeah.
I think the one thing that when it comes down to it, and this is me being unbiased, right? Because obviously you can see the star behind me, but I will say this with Jalen. Obviously, they saw his skill set and they said, you know what, let's just design this offensive scheme around his skill set and let's just run with it. You know, with Dakota Prescott, what's so hard about him is that he had to learn how to play the position of quarterback. It took him a couple seasons to get it. And once he got it, he put himself out there out on the line. And when it was the most important time to prove that he was an actual NFL quarterback ready to, you know, put that team on his shoulders, he couldn't do it.
He couldn't do it.
And you know what, Jalen Hurts, I think it's easy to go. Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. So yes, for right now, for the time being, we got to go with Jalen Hurts, Patrick Mahomes. Those are the two best. I think Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback right now in the NFL. I think that there's no, I mean, it's a consensus, isn't it, gentlemen?
Yep.
Well, hey, but what if you ranking them? Now, if you put all the NFL quarterbacks in a vacuum, probably the top 5 is going to come from the AFC, probably.
Well, yeah. That's a great topic for another day. But my favorite quarterback is Joe Burrow, so it's kind of hard. Elisha says, but can we all agree that the Lions won't be seeing a Super Bowl anytime soon? I don't know about that, man.
We'll see one before the Patriots.
Okay.
Oh, and Cowboys too. They got to go through
the NFC. So you're right. Well, you're absolutely right. Anything can happen. We saw.
Where's this Cowboy? We gotta get this schedule out. Where's this Cowboy game happening? In Detroit or Dallas?
It probably is in Detroit this year.
Never mind. I'm not going there.
Yeah, they do there.
It's okay.
Sauce Gardner say that. Watch out, Detroit is not like Kansas.
They did. Hey, Sauce Gardner did say that. I don't
know what he meant, Walt. Maybe you can give us a little bit of insight on that.
It's okay. Walt hasn't recovered from that goose egg they put on the scoreboard this past season against the Patriots.
Oh boy.
What do you say? I don't know about that. The Lions need to make the playoffs first. They almost did, man.
They almost did.
They almost did, but they did do that. So just to kind of round out the show today, right? I mean, we're just having fun. I mean, obviously, we're just excited for the football season to start. But I put down AFC North for Kendall, and Yahoo actually had them ranked 3rd. NFC North goes to Harv. Yahoo had them ranked 7th. And I had Walt with the AFC South having Yahoo rank them 6th. So that is our choices. And I said right now the strongest division was both beasts in the East, right? AFC and NFC East. So that rounds out the show for today. For those that get catches on replay, please subscribe, turn on notifications, and let you know when we go live. Guys, put in your plug so we can all keep in touch. Obviously, we're gonna have a Discord pretty soon on the East West. So I hope all those that are out there that tune in later on and watch it, keep an eye out. We're gonna show we have a Discord. Definitely you can catch us on we have Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We have the whole shabam. So subscribe here. Kendall, go ahead.
Ken's Pat starts right there at the bottom left screen on my end. Ken's apostrophe S, K-E-N apostrophe S, Pat's Talk. Same on Twitter, IG as well. Make sure you subscribe, follow my page, Twitter and IG, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I appreciate it.
Harv, what's plugs?
At the Cowboys Cast, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. It's the Cowboy Cast together. Let's go.
Don't forget about TikTok, right?
TikTok, yeah, TikTok.
What's up? What?
That's YouTube, Detroit Lions Avenue, handle at the Av Lions. See it right there under my name, at the Av Lions, for all your Detroit Lions news.
There you go. But for all football news, it's East West Football, right? And you can find us here. Subscribe, like, and follow us. But that's it for us. Have a good night, everybody.